Mr. DeCoster, your company hires a private auditing company to audit Wright County farms annually, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And this company is AIB, which is a private for-profit food safety auditing firm, correct?
Right, they're sent in by our customer's request.
Okay. And if you'll turn to tab 5 of the notebook in front of you. On June 7th and 8th, 2010, your farm was actually inspected by AIB, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And AIB actually issued a superior certificate to the farm, correct?
Yes, they did.
And this has been happening, you get inspected annually, and if you'll take a look at tab 7 of your notebook, on August 20th, 2008, the farm was also, oh, I'm sorry, that's a different one. Let's just stick with tab 5 for a minute. I'll talk about tab 7 in a second. So AIB audited your company in 2008 2 times, 4 times in 2009, and at least 1 time in 2010, and every time you were found to be superior. Is that correct?
Yes, this is an inspection of the processing facility and not of the chicken barn.
Okay. And what I wanted to talk about with tab 7, if you'll look at that, unbelievably to this committee, in 2009, AIB was the same auditor that audited the Peanut Corporation of America and also gave them a superior recommendation. Do you see that in your notebook as well?
Yes, ma'am.
So here's the thing, is both the Peanut Corporation of America and Wright County Egg paid AIB to audit their companies and receive superior ratings right before both companies sold products that sickened thousands of people with salmonella. And Mr. Chairman, I bring this up to say that just relying on third-party auditors is not going to guarantee consumer safety, which is why, getting back to all of our point, we need to pass this bill. I wanted to ask you a couple of questions, Mr. Mangshaw. In your opening statement, you said, in order to get fresh quality eggs to market, Hellendale must be able to rely on good production and good processing, correct?
That is correct.
You can't have good production and good processing without a clean and up-to-standard facility, correct?
Yes.
And you also said in your opening statement that you were surprised. It was difficult, quote, difficult to understand why FDA was saying your eggs were responsible for 7 people sick at one restaurant, correct? Because you thought that your processes were good. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, the FDA inspected your facilities August 19 through August 26, 2010, and they found numerous, quote, unsealed rodent holes, liquid manure streaming from a crack in the manure pit, and uncaged hens tracking manure through the laying facilities. Do you think that that's up to a standard of care, sir?
Those, the rodent holes were open.
Okay, do you think those findings are consistent with a high standard of care at the facility, yes or no?
No.
Thank you. Now, you said a minute ago when someone asked you about, Mr. Braley actually asked you about the effect on the egg industry, and you said you apologized for any inconvenience. Do you have any idea how much the egg industry's profits have gone down because of these recalls?
I would not know.
Do you know that, Mr. DeCoster?
No, ma'am. I don't have knowledge of that.
All right. Well, Mr. Chairman, I think we'll find that out because I'm sure it's millions and millions of dollars.
Yes.
Mr. DeCoster, I wanted to ask you one last question, and that is, Chairman Waxman was talking to you about the condition of the facilities, which you apologized for, but you also seem to think that perhaps that the salmonella came in the feed, correct?
That's what we're believing at the moment.
Okay, so here's my question. You're running large egg facilities. Do you have a regular system where you test the feed that comes in to make sure that it's not contaminating the chickens that eat it?
We don't test, we did not test.
Are you
for-
going to establish such a system now, sir?
Yes, ma'am, that's what I was talking about earlier with the testing every load and doing a weekly composite and sending that into the lab. We're
Right.
currently doing
Probably you should have been doing that all along, huh?
hindsight, yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Ms. DeGette. Mr. Doyle for questions, please.